So what if I told you that in this box, I have something that can prevent all of these diseases and many more? Would you guys be interested?
Yeah.
What if I told you it was free, no charge? Even more interested? Well, I have some bad news and some good news. The bad news is there's no Broadway tickets in there. There's actually nothing in the box. You actually have this ability through physical activity exercise that you can already do. So my name is Michael Pica, and I'm a certified personal trainer from the National Strength and Conditioning Association to talk to you about exercise. So the agenda for today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scare you with a little bit of harmful effects of a sedentary lifestyle. I'm going to tell you the benefits of exercise on your mind and body, and give you some easy-to-do things to implement into your daily life. So I found this interesting statistics. It says 1 in 5 Americans meet the recommendations for physical activity. Only 1 in 5. Now this isn't thinking you're in great shape, you're a marathon runner, or anything along those lines. What this is saying is you're moving around enough. So this is also saying that 80% of people don't move around enough. So I put this thing together. It's basically 4 activities that contribute to a sedentary lifestyle. Anybody have any idea what these 4 have in common?
Sitting down.
Yes, sitting down. So now I'm going to show you a video of what happens when you sit for prolonged periods.
Sitting can be a nice break from a busy day, but considering many of us spend our entire workday at a desk, followed by downtime in front of a computer or TV, one has to wonder, how exactly is sitting affecting your body? The answer is pretty shocking. As soon as you sit down, the electrical activity in your muscles drops significantly and your calorie burning rate plummets to about 1 calorie per minute. After only 3 hours of sitting, there's a 50% drop in artery dilation and as a result a decrease in blood flow. Sit for 24 hours straight and the insulin in your body loses nearly 40% of its ability to uptake glucose, which increases the risk of type 2 diabetes. And things only get worse from here. After 2 weeks of sitting for more than 6 hours a day, LDL cholesterol, sometimes called the bad cholesterol, is increased along with other fatty molecules, putting you at a greater risk for weight gain. On top of this, the enzymes responsible for breaking down fats plunge, and because of the prolonged inactivity, your muscles begin to break down. Gradually, their contractions become weaker, ultimately impeding the pumping of blood to your heart. Even if you work out regularly, the minute you stop moving, the deterioration begins again in proportion to your sitting time. And that's the scary part. Research shows that just as exercise doesn't necessarily counteract the negative effects of something like smoking, it doesn't counteract the negative effects of too much sitting. A year later, the effects begin to compound, and some studies in women have even shown a decrease in bone mass upwards of 1% every year. Think your brain is more important than your body? Physical movement not only helps pump blood and oxygen to the brain, but also sends mood-enhancing hormones. When we don't move, brain function begins to slow down. Perhaps the most shocking is that after 10 to 20 years of sitting for 6 hours a day, you may have lost up to 7 quality-adjusted life years. That is, years without medical issues or death. For example, the risk of dying from heart disease increases by 64%, while the risk of prostate or breast cancer increases by 30%. If everybody sat for no more than 3 hours a day, it's estimated that the average lifespan would rise by 2 years. Simply put, our bodies aren't designed to be sedentary, and sitting for 8 hours a day at work is just as bad for those who go home and watch TV as it is for those who hit up the gym. It can literally be a lethal activity. So what's the best solution? We put together a list.
Alright, so that was a lot of information, and probably some scary information. Let's go with a few takeaways from the video. Prolonged sitting increases muscle breakdown, slowing of brain function, and higher risk of disease. One interesting thing that I found from the video, which I actually didn't know, is that it doesn't matter what type of physical shape you are. You could be a marathon runner, you could be a bodybuilder. Negative effects of sitting down for prolonged periods affects everybody. Now let's go to a little video of some of the benefits exercise can do to negate these side effects.
Exercise actually reorganizes your brain, and that's really why we work out, right? So our brains look organized to potential mates. Anthony here for D-News, and a new report from a team at Princeton University has found that when you exercise, your brain actually reorganizes itself to handle stress better. We've known for a while that exercise can help your mental health, but it's sort of been a mystery as to why. It almost contradicts physical findings. See, while previous psychological studies have shown that physically active people are less stressed, studies on the actual structure of the brain show that exercise promotes the growth of neurons in the ventral hippocampus, the area that regulates anxiety. And see, young neurons are usually...
So, if you have to do a presentation or a big test that you have coming up or maybe a meeting and you're stressed out about it, exercise before that is a great method to reduce some of this anxiety.
Usually more easily excitable than old ones. So really, exercising should give you more anxiety. So why doesn't it? In the study, the researchers took some super active mice and some super lazy mice and surprised them by dunking them into cold water. The brains of the two groups behaved differently. The lazy mice had an increase in what's called immediate early genes. These are these genes that get turned on instantly and short term when a neuron is fired. And the active mice didn't have those genes turn on, even though they had more excitable neurons. And it's because their brains released more of a neurotransmitter called GABA, which is known to keep the excitable bits of the brain in check. GABA probably sounds familiar to you if you watched my video about the sleep.
So, have you guys ever laid in bed at night? Your mind is racing, preventing you from actually going to sleep? I know I have. What helps for this is exercise increases GABA messengers in the brain to calm down the overactive neurons that are causing this.
Sleep cycle because it's an important part of getting your brain to chill out and get tired at the right times. Evolutionarily speaking, this is a pretty amazing thing, and here's why. Think about fight or flight instinct. If you're in better physical shape, your body doesn't need to go into overdrive to give you the strength you need to get out of trouble. You've already got it. But if you're in bad shape, your body wants to get you into the most worked up state it can so you have a better chance of getting out of trouble safely. Here in modern society, those old survival triggers can get activated by simple day-to-day stresses, especially since our lives are spent sitting down at work or school or home. Regular exercise could be a good way to get your brain better acclimated to the little stresses of everyday life. I've been making a point of getting more exercise lately, and it's definitely been helping me deal with everyday anxiety. Let me know.
So this was an interesting finding that Stephen Ramaki had in his article. He said a single aerobic workout is enough to kick the brains of college students into gear. What happens when you exercise is you're actually able to make more neural connections, so you can increase your creativity and your memory. And these last for many hours, several hours after you exercise is over. So what do we know? We know that currently a sedentary lifestyle is globally rising as a cause of early death, coronary heart disease, stroke, and many more. We also know that exercise can prevent diseases, improve our brains, and improve our lives. So now let's try to think of a few easy methods that we can do to implement exercise into our life. I know for me, what I do is the first thing I do is I actually have something on my workstation where I can move this up and down so I can sit or stand so I'm not sitting all day. As you've seen from the video, that's actually very bad for your body. I also, if I'm sluggish, can't concentrate or anything along those lines, feeling tired, I actually run up and down the steps for about 5 to 10 minutes, and that works great, much better than a cup of coffee or anything like that. So these things that you do can be real easy changes. You don't have to spend hours and hours at the gym like this guy right here. Thank you. Any questions?